Hey everyone, it's Sarita, and it's been a while since I posted, but I've been getting more messages and comments, just people asking me more about my experience with lens neurofeedback and EMDR. And so I just wanted to give an update as to where I'm at now with everything and just how things are going and just changes in my treatment plan. So basically I had finished up my EMDR, not my EMDR, but my lens neurofeedback sessions. We weren't seeing any more movement really happening in the few sites that were left unsuppressed. And so we just stopped, and I did more sessions than I needed to, but it was me that wanted to keep going to see if we could lift more of the suppression. But my therapist recommended that since we weren't really seeing any more movement or just very little, to stop. And so I took a kind of a big break completely from the lens neurofeedback, and then I kept on with the EMDR, and we discovered some very sticky points in my trauma therapy with EMDR. So we started to combine the EMDR with internal family systems work, and it's also referred to as parts therapy. So I'm not going to get into in this video into what that therapy is, but it has been very helpful combining it with the EMDR to get through some of the really stickier parts of my therapy. And so that's what we've been doing with my therapy. We did that for a while, just the EMDR with the internal family systems work. And it did start to get through some of that really stickier type of childhood trauma, kind of the bigger things that were, that were unresolved. Or that were just really hard to resolve with the EMDR on its own. And so it's been very helpful. We've been making progress. It hasn't been easy. It's like just the level of awareness that I'm having now with all of that therapy, and just going deeper into the trauma work. So there's been a lot more awareness that I'm having about patterns and just the kind of stuff that's stuck as far as beliefs, how I feel about myself, and the things that may be blocking sort of the goals that I have or things that I would like to have in my life. And so it's been hard, but it's also been good to become aware of some of these things that I wasn't aware of. So that's been really good. I think we're just going to stick with the EMDR, with the internal family systems work. So we'll keep doing that. But a little bit along the way, when we got to the really sticky stuff, I started to get more emotionally dysregulated. And also my work stress has gone through the roof. So the last few months have been just crazy at work, all kinds of conflicts and issues and things happening. And so we decided to introduce lens back in, except with a new protocol. So we're doing this type of protocol that is called an alpha wave protocol. And I guess that's like more of the brain waves. It's kind of more of like the brain waves that are involved in meditation or that are most affected by meditation. So we put that back in just like a few weeks ago, and it's been really helping me get through some of that tougher trauma therapy, the stickier parts of the EMDR and the internal family systems work. So what I've noticed more with the alpha protocol with the lens has been that I am definitely feeling more emotionally regulated. Definitely I'm coming back faster from things than before. Again, for me, I have a lot like my whole life I dealt with a lot of emotional dysregulation, and I didn't know because I didn't know any better than that. Like I didn't know that I was super emotionally dysregulated. So now that I'm becoming more and more regulated, I'm like, oh, this is how things are supposed to feel. Or, you don't have to stay stuck in an emotional reaction for this long. So I've definitely been moving through things faster. And it's really been helping me process through this really deep part of my trauma therapy. This is like a new level of healing for me in my trauma therapy. So my brain's been responding really well to the alpha protocol, and what's been happening is when we've looked at the brainwave map is that so basically the sites in my brain that are more involved in emotional regulation, those are the sites that have not been lifting as well in the past. But my brain is actually responding really well to those sites now on this new protocol that we're doing. So I'm really happy with that. It is really helping me through sort of this tough part of my trauma therapy, but it's also helping me quite a bit as far as the work stress that I'm having and being able to manage that and being able to move through it faster. It's not perfect. Like I said, I am prone to being, emotionally dysregulated in general, more than like the average person would be because of the amount of trauma I've had in my life. So, but I'm really happy with the process so far. Combining the EMDR with the internal family systems work, also called parts therapy, as well as the new alpha protocol lens neurofeedback. Yeah, it's been really good. And also in the last couple of weeks, I've reintroduced more of the spiritual aspect of healing as well. So I have a new coach that I'm working with. I worked with him previously. I had started working with this coach more on the spiritual side of things before I had all of these traumatic events back in 2018. So once those traumatic events hit, I sort of stopped with that, and I needed to see somebody to help me with, at the time, the PTSD symptoms that I was having. So I feel like I'm ready to go back into more of the spiritual side of healing. And basically the last 2 weeks where I've had my sessions with my new spiritual coach, mentor, Dave, it's been really amazing adding that deeper layer of support that I need and helping me reestablish a connection to something greater than me, helping me to find more of that deeper intuition, knowingness, that deeper level of being able to trust myself again. And really, and it's interesting because what's coming out of the spiritual counseling sessions is really has the exact same themes as what I'm processing through with my therapist. So I think this is going to work really well together. I've noticed a difference. Like today I had my session with my spiritual mentor, Dave, and I just immediately felt better, calmer, more regulated, definitely more hopeful and more on the positive side with everything that I've been going through lately. So that's what I wanted to share with you, sort of where I'm at now. So that's why I've been posting. I've just had a lot more on my plate, responsibility-wise with my career, and then added career stress, and also, going into this really deep layer of my trauma therapy. So if you have any questions and you want to know more about what I'm doing, please feel free to comment. I'm also on Instagram under Sarita_B, so that's SURITA_B. You can connect with me on there as well. Just because I'm not always so great about checking my YouTube comments. At some point, I will get back to being on YouTube more and, spending more time, but I feel like I'm at this really critical point in my trauma therapy, so I'm just working on that. And so some of my main goals over the next while is going to be more on the spiritual side. So really getting back into my spiritual practices. You know, I used to have this very like monkish routine with all my spiritual development, and I fell off of that because of, well, all the things on my plate, plus focusing more on trauma specific therapy. So, you know, there's only so many things you can take on, but now I'm in that space again. So I'll be creating my kind of spiritual practice again, implementing that, really becoming disciplined in those practices again, because I feel like this is sort of the point to reintroduce that and combine that with the therapy that I'm doing. So yeah, I might do some videos coming back on here again, sharing more of my progress on the spiritual development side. And then if there's sort of more insights or results that I'm seeing with the lens neurofeedback and EMDR, I will definitely let you know. But I guess, you know, key things in this video are, you know, I'm back on a new protocol with lens neurofeedback. EMDR treatment has changed a little bit with parts therapy or internal family systems therapy. And the main benefits I've been experiencing now with all of that is I'm definitely more emotionally regulated. Anxiety continues to drop. And when I do get it, again, it resolves much faster. And then the other thing that I have not mentioned in this video is that my patterns have been shifting and changing more. So sort of more of those unhealthy patterns gravitating towards people and situations that are not very good for me. I've actually sort of just naturally been repelled by those. And if a situation starts in my life, I've just naturally like cut it off really quick. And I'm so proud of myself for that, because normally I try to see the good in everybody, and I try to, which is not a bad thing, but sometimes when you've had so much trauma like me, it's more, you know, you want to see the good in everybody and you want to trust people to the point where, you know, you end up inviting really toxic people into your life, or people who just don't have good intentions. So I have been doing a great job of keeping people like that away from me. And I'm really proud of myself with this shift in the pattern. And really, it all comes down to those patterns naturally shifting and changing as a result of staying committed to my trauma therapy and working on my emotional regulation. So that's my update. There's no more. And I'll be back sometime soon with another video.